Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Jim Paterson. I'm principal of a group called Discovery Group from Vancouver, Canada. I'm honored to be the moderator today, Technology and the Lithium Revolution. Thank you very much for staying late. We've got some great panelists, speakers with knowledge on investment, academia, technology with respect to lithium. So we'll just start by rolling down from left to right the introductions of the three panelists, starting with Paolo.
Okay. Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Paolo Guida. I'm a research scientist at King Abdullah University of Science and Technology, and I'm a founder of Circoli, which is a lithium battery recycling startup, a spin-out of KAUST.
Assalamu alaikum. Hello, everyone. I'm Saoud Al-Mendil. I'm the Vice President of Technology and Innovation from Ma'adin, the Saudi mining company.
Great. Thank you.
Yeah. Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Zipin Lai, and I'm a professor of KAUST in the program of chemistry and chemical engineering, and I'm the founder of the Lithium Infinity.
Great, thank you very much. Saoud, we'll start with you. Maybe just talk a little bit about your investment process, the criteria, and how you see the partnership between companies like Ma'adin and technology companies like the ones we have here today.
Surely, we are very proud of our collaboration and investment in Lehigh Tech Lithium Infinity, the startup coming from the KAUST University. This is truly a successful collaboration, and it can be considered a model of innovation collaboration in the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia related to the innovation in mining. The components of this truly showcase how a successful recipe can be made to exemplify to other academic or startup companies that are interested to truly take their knowledge and take their innovative solutions to application to help us solve major problems. As you all understand, when it comes to the energy transition, lithium is a major critical enabler that is required for electrification, EV, so on and so forth. But from that perspective, truly the dependence or truly the supply and demand imbalance required us to look for innovative solutions. This solution from KAUST University, this startup, we jumped into this collaboration at an early stage. In fact, we were very proud that this is coming from a local university, KAUST. Dr. Zipping and his team working there truly have showcased and proved the success of this on a lab scale, which truly interests Ma'adin and triggered our interest to take this collaboration to see how we can upscale and collaborate with this company to take it to the next level. We saw the right team in place. We saw the common goal and focus area, whereas probably some universities put some effort into areas that are maybe not of very much interest of industrial companies. But in this case, this was very much of an interest. This is the right focus. And from that, we took it into a collaborative approach with consistent and persistent sort of collaboration that was ongoing with adaptability. Probably I can elaborate further after hearing from Dr. Zipping and bringing here some of the success of year one results of 10 kilograms of lithium, which he guaranteed me that it's safe, it's not hazardous because it's lithium carbonate. So I'm feeling safe sitting next to 10 kilograms of lithium.
If not, move it down to me, I feel safe. Professor, maybe talk a little bit about why you think Ma'adin and KAUST invested in your company.
Yes, okay. So let me tell a little bit of the history of the technology, how we developed, right? So in this forum, you have heard many times about lithium, right? Batteries and, so it's also now lithium is called like the white gold. It symbolizes how important of this element for the future, the renewable industry, energy, like future, right? So in 2021, and my research lab in KAUST, so we discovered really, I would say, groundbreaking technology, and to extract the lithium from seawater, and with a lithium concentration only 0.2 ppm. So at the very beginning, you can see that it's just based on a curiosity research, right? We just want to demonstrate that, as a researcher and in a university, how can we solve a challenging issue that we are facing in the future, right? So then, so after we discovered this technology, and then we received a strong support from KAUST. So they encourage us not just to focus on fundamental research, but also trying to commercialize it. So based on this encouragement, so we built this startup called Lithium Infinity. Yeah. And then, of course, we trying to approach companies and get support. And then, but at that moment, have to say, not many people believe it, right? And it's still challenge, and and also, especially when we wanted to find a solution within the kingdom, using the in-kingdom resources. And then I meet with Mr. Saul from Mahada. And then we had many discussions. And I have to tell him frankly, I said our technology, the success rate is only 10%, right? And maybe later we can hear from Saul how an innovative mind he has, right? To allow him to take the risk, to invest us, right? To work with us. But now, I would say, now you see in front of me, I brought a bottle of lithium carbonate. It's extracted from the Aramco oil field to produce the water. It's a battery grade. So with this, I can now proudly to announce that it's the official launch of lithium extraction within the kingdom using the in-kingdom source. And together, we wish that we will work with Mahada, with Aramco, with the Minister of Industry and Mineral Resources and the KAUST. We wish to really build a knowledge-based economy and really wanted to position Saudi Arabia as the global leader in the transition, the future energy transitions.
Thank you. Paulo, maybe give some background on why KAUST invested in you or what the structure is, and talk a little bit about your company.
So other than the water, there is another resource of lithium that is quite widespread, and it's basically phone batteries or car batteries, lithium-ion batteries in general. So one day we were looking at what are the problems in recycling batteries to recover battery-grade materials, and we figured out that the process is quite intense in terms of consumption of sulfuric acid in particular, the fact that you have to neutralize it before dispose it, and the fact that the infrastructures are really huge. In fact, most of the companies that recycle batteries are stuck asking investments over investments because they cannot keep the capex at an acceptable level. So we said, OK, let's try to intensify the process. We developed a new reactor for leaching and a new reactor for crystallization, which are two steps of the hydrometallurgical process. And we figured out that we could reduce by 20 times the footprint required to recycle lithium-ion batteries. Also, we are doing it by using acetic acid instead of sulfuric acid, which has much lower carbon footprint, slightly higher price, but we end up having a product, a waste product, which is actually something that you can sell instead of something that you have to dispose, which is sodium acetate. So we said, OK, this makes sense from an economics perspective and also from an environmental perspective. We just went to KAUST. We said, OK, we have this technology. We want to prove it at some level, and we received investment from KAUST. After that, we were in contact with Saudi Investment Recycling Company, CIRC, and we are actually negotiating now how to move this further to eventually have a pilot system at a larger scale and next to KAUST, like 2 hours from KAUST. We already have a pilot scale plant that processes 50 kilograms of black mass, which is the cathode material, the valuable part of a battery, per day. So yeah, 20 tons per year, more or less.
Great, thank you.
Thank you.
So maybe Professor Lai brought up that you had that vision. You took a big step and risk with a technology that only worked 10% of the time. So is that a culture within Ma'aden to allow you to do that? Maybe explain that.
Sure, that's a good point. So it is known probably within the M&M, the mining and minerals as a sector, that it's a risk-averse industry. From that perspective, Ma'aden truly have put very ambitious targets of growth for the company to grow by 10x by 2040. That growth will not happen by the technologies we had in the last century, probably, number of decades. It truly required us to innovate. That coupled with the energy transition pressures, imbalance of the availability of some of the critical minerals, truly Ma'aden have put as an innovation strategy that required us to truly take certain levels of risk. That's definitely a calculated risk, whereas the confidence probably in some of these emerging technologies is not high in the beginning, but where we work with our partners globally within our open innovation framework to ensure that we increase the confidence as we go. With that, there's a very important element, which is adaptability and agility. When we started, it was very ambitious target to have lithium from the direct lithium extraction, DLL sort of technology from local sources in Saudi. In fact, we were not targeting oil field brine when we started, which Dr. Zipping knows very well. The whole project starting with a very promising ambition to say seawater. The entire seawater can be something to work with. The research from Dr. Zipping that he can tell us, it can do it. However, the economic feasibility is also a very important aspect when it comes to commercializing any of these startup technologies. So we then started to look for alternative within Saudi sources. So we started looking within Ma'aden if any of our feeds from some of our different commodities, whether from our bauxite processing or from our phosphogypsum or from our phosphate, and we ended up getting results that are still not very encouraging. Here, the latest adaptability, and hence the announcements you heard today, which is the collaboration with Aramco. In fact, the oil field brine became the right source depending on the concentration we were able to get, which helps us to do this in a commercial scale, feasible way. And hence, you heard today the announcements with their excellencies a while ago, and the 10 kilograms sitting here, which now is also only paving the way to go further into our upscaling of this very promising potential to start to extract lithium from oil field brine in Saudi, and technology coming from a local university, invested by a local, the mining champion of Saudi, and now turning the sources of the Saudi oil field brines to extract further value from it to help us in the energy transition that is required on all of us.
I must say that globally, I've invested in several technology companies around the world at the early stage, and the big challenge is to commercialize, or the hesitancy for the established mining or oil and gas companies to adopt technology and incorporate it. So, Professor Lai, maybe talk to us a little bit about maybe why you're blessed to be in Saudi Arabia, getting the funding from groups like Ma'aden and KAUST, but also looks like commercial acceptance from some of the biggest players in the world.
Yes. Yeah. So just a few half hour ago, right? We hear from the Minister of the Industry and the Mineral Resource, right? So he said now is the time to do innovation in the kingdom, right? So because the kingdom has the brand, okay. Also, we have a strong support from the industry. I would say this is exactly what I'm facing. I'm very, very lucky, I got a strong support from Ma'aden, from Mr. Saud, right? I'd already mentioned, even at a very, very high risk, right? But they're willing to take the risk and support. Yeah. Frankly speaking, in the last 2 years, we formed a strong team. I mean, this team is not just the researchers from KAUST, right? We have get a strong support from Ma'aden. Ma'aden I would say, inform probably more than 10 people, right? And really, support us from all aspects. And as already mentioned, we are trying to look for in-kingdom resources, And then, so Mahatma suggests us, why don't we try like oil field produce water, right? Even this resource is not kind of like, from Mahatma. But immediately, Mahatma and Aramco form alliance and support us. So I think, with all of this support, it's really, you can see in 2 years, we already can make a almost impossible job to be, I would say, at least quite promising right now, right? I mean, if you look at really, the technology development from a laboratory work to like a industrialization, right? Normally take 20, 30 years. I think, now we are able to achieve it in 2 years. I think this is really, is benefit a lot from the collaborations between our university, KAUST, and also Mahatma. Yeah, it's really, I would say, this environment is super important.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Standout results globally for sure compared to other projects around the world. So Paulo, maybe talk totally different sources, or maybe explain to people the technology that you're working on is global in terms of its feed sources, correct?
Yeah.
So describe maybe the differences there.
So actually, the best places to deploy our technology would be places where EVs are quite widespread.
Okay.
Because and also power accumulation, like with lithium iron phosphate batteries, because our technology works better with the kind of chemistry in the batteries for EVs or for households and so on, batteries used in households and so on. So the idea we have right now is to develop a technology in Saudi and apply that elsewhere. The fact that we are building the reactor itself, all the pieces, all the technology, all the software in Saudi Arabia, and then we are going to deploy it most probably initially in Europe or in the US, that's something quite new.
Yeah.
Because we not only exploit our research that in the future is going to be widespread here as well, but we are kind of exporting technology. And this is, I mean, we're really proud of that. That's something that we really want to do, like having made in Saudi Arabia and the technology sector stand out.
But it would have application, let's say, as mining fleets get electrified around the world and in country, those, in time, you'd be recycling those batteries?
Eventually, one day, there's going to be more lithium in batteries than lithium to mine, right? If we keep extracting. So it's only going to grow in time. We are actually thinking of applying this to minerals as well, to processing of minerals directly, not only for cathode material. I mean, it's a bit more complicated, but that's something we are looking at. Anyways, yeah, that would enable a more sustainable electrification.
Great,
for sure.
Thank you. So when you think about investing in companies and building up the infrastructure and investing in the kingdom, how much are you thinking about taking the technology and the commercialization to a global stage? Is that part of what you're thinking as well?
Definitely it is. In fact, probably we heard it from His Excellency, the Minister of Industry and Mineral Resources. This is a land where dreams do come true in terms of the implementation that we take seriously. It gives me a little bit of nostalgia. Only a couple of years ago, we visited the labs in KAUST, and we saw the small experiment in the lab. It was able to extract lithium from a small water container.
In milligrams.
In milligrams, absolutely. And then fast forward a couple of years after, one FMF, we signed the investment agreement, we were convinced. Then we built manufactured the equipment. And here we stand with the results of this, truly the facility, the bench scale that have been put in KAUST from oil field brine coming from Aramco. So the lithium demand is not Saudi only, of course. This is a global demand. However, we heard from our leaders, we heard from many of the executives regarding the demand and supply imbalance globally, and the needs truly to secure supply chains when it comes to critical minerals. So from that perspective, here in Saudi, we are also truly activating the different innovative options that we have with local universities that we are very proud, but also very much welcoming international startups as well. And you heard about the announcement with a new lab and the different startups they are bringing. So the competition is on, Dr. Zipping and Dr. Paulo, that not only the local universities and startups, we have now the international startups also very much open, and we are very much interested to collaborate with them truly to fulfill some of the demands that are coming on the critical minerals globally.
Thank you. I've been told that we're at time, so please give our panelists a hand. Thank you very much for a great presentation.